Hey guys, what's up? Benji here with some more Call of Duty gameplay. Today, I have two separate gameplays to show you guys. One is a kill confirmed on Strike Zone, and the other is a domination game on Warhawk. And while these two gameplays are playing for you guys, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Advanced Warfare because there's a lot of things I forgot to mention in my last video, and most of which this whole video is going to be about is just me talking about how Call of Duty's changed and how Sledgehammer Games can pretty much make, Advanced Warfare the best Call of Duty to date. So, these are my opinions, and I don't want to offend anybody by saying something that, you might not agree with. So just try to keep in mind that these are all my opinions, and if you guys have similar opinions, definitely shout them out in the comments below. I would love to hear some of your opinions on this game, because this is the future of Call of Duty we're talking about here. So, this game's got to be good, or I'm probably not going to buy any more Call of Duties anytime soon. But anyway, so as we all know, Gamescom was this week, and they've been showing off Advanced Warfare gameplay pretty much every day. A lot of famous YouTubers like KSX Silencer, KRY Speedy, Jehovah, and Ali have all been at this event recording gameplays and uploading them frequently on their channel. So if you want to see any Advanced Warfare multiplayer, definitely go visit their channels and take a look at some of the gameplay. It's actually looks pretty good. So what does this have to do with what I want to talk about? Well, basically, after watching their videos, I feel like some of the things they implemented into Advanced Warfare are really going to change the way we play games. And, looking back at some of the older Call of Duties like Call of Duty Ghosts, Modern Warfare 2, 3, Black Ops, Black Ops 2, we just generally have adapted from Call of Duty to Call of Duty, and they basically took every single thing that we liked about those Call of Duties and mashed them into this one big giant super COD. So the first thing I really want to complain about is the just one of the things that's bothered me ever since I started playing Call of Duty, and that's with your stupid ass teammates running through the same door at the same time, where you get that little bit of a lag or rubber banding kind of thing because you're rubbing up against another player. Now with the exoskeleton, I don't see that being much of a problem anymore, because now that you have full verticality of where you want your character to go, you're not going to get bogged down nearly as much as you're running from objective to objective. You can kind of like go your own route and make your own routes in this game. You don't have to follow a said route. And this is really cool because that's one of my pet peeves in Ghosts is somebody bumping into me as I'm running towards an objective, or running through a door, because on Warhawk here, the bakery shop at the bottom level, every time I go to run in there, there's usually somebody in the doorway with a sniper, because it's good cover because you got that truck right there. But then you get stuck in there with your teammate sniping, and then if one guy gets a lucky sniper round in both of you, you're finished, and it's back to respawn for you. That's just one of the things I dislike about Ghost, and there's a lot of things about this game I don't like. That doesn't mean I don't like this game, there's just a lot of flaws that I find in it. And our flaw in Ghost is just the way they did some of the map design. I mean, some of the maps like Warhawk, Sovereign, Strike Zone, they're really good maps. Other maps like Siege, what's the other one? Overlord. Those maps are just way too big. It's hard to get around. Even in a like, domination game, it's still hard to even get above like a 16 KD, because you're just constantly like, not finding anybody or getting bogged down in certain areas. And then you got maps like the Freight, where you have that little top overhang in the barn where people like to camp up there and hide. And with IEDs, really, that spot is just lethal. Nobody can really get to you unless they have an idea of where you are. So if you got the drop on them with like a suppressor or something, forget about it. They ain't get to see you coming. Now also, that just reminded me, another pet peeve I have in Ghost is IEDs. What were they thinking about adding a explosive that detonates and there's really no way you can avoid it? A lot of people tell me you can go prone to avoid it, or you can jump over it or something, but I tried that multiple times and it just doesn't help. Usually the easiest way I found of getting rid of that is just turning around and running the other way as quickly as you can. And a lot of people who play on lower sensitivities like 3s and 2s are going to have a lot harder time turning around and running backwards, because you know, the sensitivity's lower. Gamers like me who play like on a 6 and a 7, we're gonna be able to turn around and run away extremely quick. And same goes for anybody who's higher than that either, because you know, it's just the matter of, you know, timing. That thing beeps, you have about like 2 seconds to get out of there before that thing explodes. And, you know, hopefully in Advanced Warfare they don't bring things like that back into the game. I mean, bouncing Bettys in Black Ops 2, Ghosts, not Ghosts, Modern Warfare 3, you know, Black Ops, I believe, had something like that. You know, they weren't that bad. You know, you could avoid them. If you go prone, you could avoid the bouncing Betty. And people who play on tactical setups, you know, are really good at drop shotting, so they can usually avoid it most of the time. However, I just hope they kind of stay away from that kind of stuff. You know, focus more on, you know, the exo abilities and just what makes Call of Duty multiplayer really good. And it seems like Sledgehammer has listened to a lot of our feedback over the years, and they've had 3 years to work on this game. So there's 3 years of feedback underneath their belts right now. So I have a feeling that they're going to make this game the best it can be. I mean, already from the multiplayer gameplay we're shown, they've worked on multiple issues they've been having with other games. For example, you know, people wanted score streaks to come back to Ghosts. It technically did, but it's the Modern Warfare 3 variant of score streaks. And they want the Black Ops 2 variant. Well, this time around, they brought score streaks back. I was not on board with this at first because I thought, you know, it was going to be Black Ops 2 retarded, where you have to grind for points. It's like you're not even focusing on doing your best in the game anymore. You want the points to get those higher kill streaks. Kill streaks like the K9 unit and the VTOL gunship were just insanely difficult to get. Even the Swarm, man, I mean, it was an accomplishment when you got those streaks. And in this game, it looks like they kind of made it a little bit easier, because now with the exoskeleton, you know, you have more maneuverability. You can actually get those kills a lot faster. You're not limited to on the ground and interiors. You can actually move above certain interiors and just get a drop on certain people. And, you know, some of the guns they added into the game have, you know, just different kinds of mechanics to them. Like there's elite versions of each gun now, I hear. Like Allier made a video where he was using I think the Speakeasy, and he was showing off how he had the elite version of the gun, which has a higher rate of fire and an accuracy boost. And that's pretty cool that they did that, because now, you know, it makes it a lot easier for, you know, us to, you know, pick the exact gun we want. I mean, you know, when you find a gun on Call of Duty, it's like, oh, well, this one has a super shitty drop-off rate, but I totally like the rate of fire on it. And now, you know, you can get a better version of that gun just by using it more often. It's like, oh, well, now it has, you know, extended mags, and it's a lot more, you know, accurate with its shots, so it pretty much ignores that drop-off. And, you know, that's revolutionizing the way you play. I mean, they basically gave us the liberty to decide how we want to play Call of Duty. Sorry guys, I had to take a sip of my soda there. Another thing I want to talk about with that is just, you know, a lot of people say it's going to be overpowered, and I don't see it being overpowered, because basically it's like another weapon, except it just looks exactly the same as that weapon that you used before. And you know, guys, we have to take into account that it has been 3 years they've been working on this game, so, you know, it's probably going to be a lot better quality than other Call of Duties we played. I mean, we're used to Call of Duties having like 1 year development cycles, where it's like, you know, first it's Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, now it's Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, Treyarch. You know, it's going to be like that for the rest of time, unless they decide to cut off one of the companies. But, you know, the next game we get is going to be apparently Black Ops 3 or some other, you know, game set in the Black Ops universe. Because, you know, when they find a game franchise that sells a ton of copies, they're going to milk it for everything it's worth. I mean, some of the things Sledgehammer has said, though, is, like, I guess at Gamescom they did an interview with IGN, they said that, you know, the way they tried to go with the multiplayer this time around is they weren't really focused on, you know, the multiplayer, you know, the multiplayer, like, fluent maps and everything like that. They were more concerned about how the weapons handle and how you can get from point A to point B. And that's where the exoskeleton came in. It was like, well, we put the exoskeleton in, now you can jump higher, you can boost yourself like in Titanfall. If you guys know the Titan dash ability, you can kind of go left and right with the exoskeleton, which, you know, was a lot of fun doing in Titanfall. It was a great way to get out of, those engagements. And it still, wasn't like a cheap thing. You boost away from another Titan, they're just going to have to reacquire you as a target. And it gives you plenty of time to kind of launch your counterattack on them and get their shields down. And, that was a really good game. Titanfall, the only thing I don't like about Titanfall is that there weren't nearly as many weapons as there are in COD. And, that's one of the things I've really had a difficulty adjusting with Titanfall is just the lack of weapons. I was hoping in DLC they would add more, but we didn't get that lucky. I mean, we got new burn cards, we got a currency system and all that, but still not the thing we all want, which is weapons. But, Advanced Warfare, will it change the Call of Duty world as we know it? Probably. The way I see it right now, and from the gameplay I watch, it just looks like a ton of fun to play. They've added a couple of their own game modes into it, as well as bringing back some fan favorites. I mentioned in my last video, they're bringing back War from World at War, which is a big thumbs up in my book. There's just so many things they're doing right with Advanced Warfare. We still don't know what their little hidden game mode is. I mean, we've had zombies in the Treyarch Call of Duties, we've had Extinction in Ghosts, and now we have a opportunity to see a brand new game mode. A lot of people are speculating Cyborg Zombies. Personally, I don't see that happening because Cyborg Zombies is basically zombies from Treyarch, just mixed with kind of like a cybernetic kind of theme. And that isn't what that isn't what we want from the Call of Duty. We don't want something retextured, because that's basically saying, we're okay with them reskinning the old Call of Duty and just publishing them again with new weapons and maps. I mean, if I wanted to play the same game over and over and over again, I would just go back to playing Modern Warfare 2, because back in those days things were a lot simpler, and I wouldn't even own Xbox One if that was the case. The whole reason I bought an Xbox One was to get some of these supposedly next-gen games that are so good, and they said, oh, Ghost is so much better on next-gen because the maps are a lot bigger and, frame rate's higher, so, you don't have as much lag. And I bought Ghost first day, I thought it was good. I said, it's definitely a step up from the 360. And then I'm just sitting there banging my head against the wall because, it's just the same stuff over and over again. People think, oh yeah, well, it's gonna be so much easier on the Xbox One because only rich people will have it because they can afford it. But then you got those kids online, or parents feel bad for them. It's like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna buy little Jimmy here an Xbox One because God knows what he'll do if he doesn't get one. And it's just, it's not gonna be better on any system. I mean, no matter what game you play it on. Sure, frame rate's higher on the Xbox One, which significantly speeds up the multiplayer, but I still find that, the Xbox 360 multiplayer is nearly identical to the Ghost multiplayer on the One. But, so anyway, with Advanced Warfare, it's coming out on all the consoles, including PC, so, this is pretty much going to be like a big title. I mean, there's going to be multiple consoles and multiple players playing it, so everyone's going to have their own opinion on which console version is better. I personally think, all of them are generically the same. However, on the next gen systems, it might be a lot better just because the frame rates are. I mean, we got 60 frames per second right now, and on the Xbox 360, I think we only had like 30. So, everything's a lot faster paced on the Xbox One. The controller complements the game very well. It makes it so you have great maneuverability, and with the exoskeleton in Advanced Warfare, I can't wait to get my hands on that game, because with the way the controller works with the Xbox One, I'm going to be able to do so many cool like stunts and just tear things up with that skeleton, man. Another thing that I do like that I noticed real quick about Advanced Warfare is one of the guns they were using in the IGN gameplay demo was, I forgot what it was called again. it was a bunch of different numbers and letters, things like that. But it basically the guy would pull out the mag and then reload it kind of like the M4. It's nice to see that they're reusing an M4 style reload animation because one of the things I really wanted them to bring back in Ghost was the M4A1 from Call of Duty 4. And, that's another thing about Ghost too, is that they promised us DLC weapons. What, we get like two? If you want to include the gold guns in the third DLC, you know, really I don't even think you should count that. There's just retextured guns with one has a higher fire rate and the other one is, speeds up faster or something like that. And we had 4 DLCs. They should have given us 4 weapons. I mean, come on, Infinity Ward. Wait, don't tell me you ran out of ideas for guns or you're saving it for Ghost 2 because if you do this again to your fans, they're not gonna they're not gonna come back and buy your next game. Really, and I hope Advanced Warfare learns upon these mistakes from Ghost because, you know what? I really, really, really want to see this Call of Duty succeed because it's got a lot living up for it. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and if you want to share your opinions with me personally, write them in the comments below. I would enjoy hearing them, and we can have a little discussion about this, and you might even, spark a topic for one of my next videos. So anyway, guys, this has been Benji, and I will see you in the future. Later.